Welcome to the video. Today I will be making my bullet journal setup for 2026. It is soon going to be 2026, so having my setup done before the end of the year is a great idea. I filled up my previous journal, so this is a completely empty journal that I will be using for 2026. For this setup, I will be using paper, markers, pens, washi tape, stickers to make the spreads. So let's begin with making the setup. Before starting the setup, I am going to write down my name on the first page where you write who this belongs to. Since it is a simple page, I am writing my name and adding some decoration as well, just so the page goes with the theme I have for the setup. At this point, I wanted to add stars to my setup, so I use this hole puncher shaped like a star thing to cut out stars that I can glue on this page, as well as cutting out a couple more stars so that I can use this for my whole setup that I will be making today. Now, to start out with the setup, I am making my cover page. It is pretty simple. I am writing my 2026 journal, and that is all. I will be using this journal as a planner basically. In terms of theme for the setup, I use the color of the journal as inspiration. So it is a pink theme. So my plan for the theme was just going with pink and seeing what happens. So I got all my pink pens, markers, stickers, washi tape, and papers out and used them to make the setup. I don't really have a theme for this. I just have that I wanted it to be pink primarily, and from that I'm using all the things that I took out that are pink to make the setup. I wanted it to keep it pretty simple with not having to draw or have anything super intricate, and that's why I'm just using stickers and washi tape and other things like that to make the setup. Next up is Grid Spacing Guide. This is a useful spread for me because when I am sketching out or planning out how the pages are going to be, I check this to make sure everything is even and aligned. I noticed that in the past, I didn't really use this guide to help with positioning, boxes, or calendar lineup like I thought I would. I used it to remember how many dots there were basically, and then from that I just made the outline for my journal page like that with just counting and seeing how everything would fit myself. That is why I am keeping this guide super simple this time. I only have lines to point out the middle of the page, as well as how many total dots there are horizontally and vertically. Table of contents. I like having a place where I can keep track of all the spreads that I am making. I also like to be very detailed with it, which is why I have 3 pages for this. This helps me with finding a certain month or page that I am looking for without having to flip through all the pages to find what I am looking for. The future log is for me an overview of 2026. I have mini calendars for each month here where I write down important dates that I should remember, like birthdays or events. This is helpful because when using a bullet journal, you make all the monthly setups yourself. So if you have an important event in February, but you haven't done your February setup in the journal, you can write that down here without an issue. And generally, when using a bullet journal, you don't make all your spreads at once. You kind of do them each month before the start of the new month. At least that's what I do. So if I have something in February, I don't have my setup done yet for February. So I put it here and then I can do my February setup. So this is a very convenient and essential for me spread to have in my overall setup. I have 4 pages for the future log so that I have more space each month to write in. This is taking a very long time to do. Doing it manually is a lot of work, and thankfully I only have to do this once or twice in the year, so not a huge problem. It looks so nice. Now I just have to do the titles and then add the spaces for writing in, and I should be done with the future log finally. Yay. The goal spread is next. This is a place for me to write down goals that I have for 2026. This can be any goal from a personal one to a professional one. I used to have my goals separated into categories, but this time I want to keep it very simple. The little note that I added is just in case I want to write down a reminder or something important in terms of the goals I have for 2026. I have that there just in case, which is why I separated it on its own little sticky note rather than having inside. In terms of coloring inside the lettering, I am thinking I'm just going to keep alternating between either like filling the whole thing in or having like this mismatched or just having it all white and just outlined. Just because I just want to, I forgot this. Just because it makes sense to me. Like, I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to try and take out the corner from this sticker and I hope it works. Please, we'll see if everyone this little thingy. Ah, it worked. I can't believe it did. Yay, look at that. It's so nice. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of myself. This is like huge, like very proud. My goal is to finish these sticker sheets I have because I've had them for a while and I really want to lessen my sticker collection. I feel like I have a lot of them and I want to use as many as I do because I feel sometimes I keep them, collect them, but don't use them because I just feel like they're so pretty that I shouldn't use them. And then I think that's a problem in itself. So for that reason, I am trying to use my sticky notes, stickers, washi tape, everything I have basically. Wish list is for writing down anything that I'm thinking of buying. I like to have this spread in my setup because there are times that I find something in a store or online that I want but cannot buy at the moment. To remember that is something that I want, I write it down here and then I can look here to buy it later. It is interesting seeing this filled at the end of the year because I might have bought things that I wrote here or I might not have and then something I don't even want anymore. So it's interesting seeing what I've wanted and what I have not bought. (2026) to-dos. This is where I have the things that I want to do in 2026. This can be as simple as wanting to go to a park at least once this year, to something that is not as easy to do, I use this to write things that I want to do and motivate myself to do them in the future. For example, one thing I want to do this year is take pottery wheel lessons. So I will write that here, and then when I look at this page, I will remember that is something I wanted to do. For me, this helps push me into getting out of my comfort zone, doing things I haven't wanted to do or have, but haven't thought of doing because I just didn't want to do it. So now looking at here, I can do it if I want. It kind of motivates me in a way. Then it's the checkout pages. This is a place to write down things that I want to check out, like a movie that I saw a trailer for and am interested in seeing it when it comes out. So a way to remind myself of that movie is by writing it here so I can look back to this page and see that I wanted to watch that movie. It's just a place to write down things that I want to watch, listen to, or read, or anything else really. I was going to make this one page, but I wasn't sure about the amount of space I would have to write in. I sometimes write a lot, so I like to be prepared for that by having as much space available for me to write in, which is why so many of these spreads I have today are 2 pages or more. I just like having the extra space just in case. I really like these stars I made, and I just like adding them anywhere. It's stuck my finger. Because these were very fun to make. I'm having trouble with this washi tape, and it's because I'm doing it with my fingers. I don't know if I should be using a scissor for this, or if my system is the best way. It's just, to me, the most practical, so that's why I'm doing it this way and just sticking it on. But I'm not sure it's the best way just because I keep getting these stuck on not like ripping right now. See that it's not ripping well. See, with this setup, I just had the placements done, so where the boxes would be, where the writing's going to be, but everything else I'm adding in the decoration, I'm just doing it where I think feels best, and I'm not really seeing if the placement looks good or not. It's just how I'm looking at it. There. Okay, so add a bunch of these stickers because I only have one spread more, so we're just going to have a lot of fun with this. I might add a bit more stickers after I finish the setup, before I do my flip through, just because I do want to get rid of all these stickers. Last spread for this setup is going to be 2026 highlights. I don't really have an idea of how the spread is going to turn out. The point of this spread is having a place that I can write down any highlights so far in 2026. This can be an important thing that happened this year or just nice things that I want to remember. It's a place to write down or add images, I guess, of the most important things I want to remember of 2026. I'm not sure how this is going to look. Again, this is something that is going to be filled with time rather than like right now writing in it. So it's just going to be blank for a while until maybe the end of the year. Basically, this is going to be filled. Or at least that's the idea that I have. For that reason, I am adding a lot of decoration to this page because I don't really know what's going to happen to it. And I am not sure that was the best idea, but I can't fix it now. And I think it should be fine. And I can always like write or draw or whatever around it. That is the end of my bullet journal setup for 2026. I hope you liked the video and that it helps you with your bullet journal setup if you watched it with that intention. I didn't really know how this setup was going to turn out. To me, it looks great. It's so pink and cute and better than I thought it was when I was making it. It's always interesting seeing how I think about my setup when I'm making it, and then when I flip through it at the end, I'm always amazed that it looks better than I thought it would, and that my idea makes sense. It makes me excited to start writing in these pages. Thank you for watching this far. Until the next video, goodbye!